Hello, good evening and welcome to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. This bulletin is live from our studio here at Adesanwe, Kanda in Accra, and also live around the world on 3news.com. My name is Martin Asiedu Date. Coming up this evening, Ghana's Trade Union Congress strongly opposes government's attempts to revive regional and district tribunals, describing it as a reminder of the country's collective bitter history.
It is baffling to us that government is attempting to activate the tribunals. The TUC is manifestly opposed to the idea of resuscitating tribunals, given our collective bitter experiences with tribunals.
We'll be digging into the specific concerns being raised by the TUC and then also find out the counter-argument being made by government. Meanwhile, in Parliament, the Minority Caucus continues to tear down portions of the bill, insisting it is a choboy system. We will bring you all the thoughts and perspectives on this growing concern. And later on in the Ashanti Regional National Security puts a moratorium on all forms of mining in the Dwabing area. We will examine the decision and ask whether that should be extended to cover the entire country. And finally, the teacher unions back again with threats of industrial action over their conditions of service. Issues of conditions of service never seem to go away when you're talking about the labor front. We'll be discussing it in detail for you as we try and get the labor unions and labor experts to speak to this particular issue. We are live on 3news.com. We are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, and we always love to hear from you. So do let us know what you make of the many stories we have for you this evening. Business and sports will be at the tail end of the show, and your thoughts are always welcome. Before that, let's bring you the news summaries with Nura Mohammed. Hello, Nura.
Hello, Martin. First in the news summaries, the Asante Hene Otumfuo Saitutu II has described the chieftaincy institution as an entrenched pillar of Ghana's constitutional order. He emphasized that its legitimacy is rooted in customary law and cannot be diminished by political interference. Also in the summaries, 15 people are feared dead following a fatal collision involving 3 vehicles at Odumase near Konongo on the Kumasi-Accra Highway in the Ashanti region on Wednesday, July 15, 2026. The crash involved a cargo truck transporting tomatoes, a passenger bus and a fuel tanker that was not carrying fuel at the time of the accident. The exact cause of the accident is yet to be officially established. Meanwhile, an Accra Circuit Court has sentenced New Patriotic Party activist and TikTok content creator Camilla Al-Hassan to 1 year in prison after she pleaded guilty to publishing false news about President John Dramani Mahama. Now, this conviction stems from videos she shared on TikTok in which she made false and unsubstantiated allegations against the president. She was convicted on charges of publishing false news and offensive conduct after admitting to the offenses. Also, Ghana is mourning the loss of 2023 Ghana's strongest champion, Godfred Akwalbela, whose passing has saddened the nation's sporting community. As the winner of the 2023 Ghana Strongest competition, Godfred inspired many with his incredible strength, discipline, and determination. His achievements and impact on the sport will always be remembered. Also in the news summaries, the leadership of 3 major teacher unions has given the government a 1-week ultimatum to conclude negotiations on their expired conditions of service, warning that further delays could trigger industrial action across the country's pre-tertiary education sector. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana say a meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, FWSC, on Thursday, July 16, ended without a resolution after the commission indicated it would seek a fresh mandate from the government before continuing negotiations. And finally, in the summaries, President John Dramani Mahama has announced the clearance for recruitment of 16,000 nurses to be employed in 2 batches to clear the backlog of unemployed personnel in the health sector. He, however, notes that the nurses must avail themselves to underserved areas where healthcare needs are greatest. He announced this as part of his 2-day Resetting Ghana tour of the Volta region. That's it for the summaries. Over to you, Martin.
Thank you very much, Nura, for the new summaries. Let's settle for the details of our stories now. We're starting from the issues regarding the setting up of some tribunals or the return of the tribunal system to our legal jurisprudence. And it has been received with mixed reactions, more importantly, even within the political circles. But this time around, we have labor unions wading into the conversation. So the Trades Union Congress, the TUC, has expressed strong opposition to the government's proposed re-establishment of regional tribunals. The Congress argues that bringing back the tribunals would revive painful memories of a chapter in Ghana's history it describes as bitter and unfortunate. Addressing a news conference, the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, called for the immediate withdrawal of the regional tribunals bill. He insisted that the proposal should be scrapped entirely, saying that the reintroduction of the tribunals is not in the country's best interest.
And 142 are no longer relevant. The TUC recommends that the entire article and other consequential references to regional tribunals must be expunged from the Constitution. In its final report to government, the Constitution Review Committee recommended that the regional tribunals be de-established from the Constitution. In the considered view of the committee, the High Court has been handling the caseload of the regional tribunals. In the face of these clear recommendations, both by TUC and the Constitutional Review Committee, it is baffling to us that government is attempting to activate the tribunals. The TUC is manifestly opposed to the idea of resuscitating tribunals, given our collective bitter experiences with tribunals. The Tribunals Bill in its current shape and form strengthens our conviction that tribunals must be abandoned. The bill, when passed into law, can be a potent tool for weaponizing justice delivery and entrench the perception held by many that our justice system is up for grabs by the politicians. We call on the President and Parliament to heed the advice of the Constitutional Review Committee, and government must halt the current legislative process of enacting the Tribunals Bill, expunge regional tribunals from the Constitution, and take meaningful steps to properly resource our judiciary. If law is properly seen as an embodiment of our collective historical experience, then the recent history of public tribunals must lead us away from any attempt to re-establish regional and district tribunals. The bill must be withdrawn from Parliament.
Well, so that's the bone of contention put forward by the Trades Union Congress in total disagreement with the passage of the introduction of the Regional Tribunals Bill in Parliament. And that conversation has been ongoing for some time. We'll try and speak to our parliamentary correspondent to give us a better understanding of how the conversation has been in Parliament, especially with the minority raising a strong opposition to it, saying that the bill, like you heard TUC say, takes the country through very painful moments that they wish they will forget, or they fear that it is likely to bring back moments that people endured or suffered during in the past when we were having regional and district tribunal courts. So what exactly is this, and why is it that we are bringing it back? What exactly is the justification for this for the return of the tribunal courts? Well, let's find out what's been happening in Parliament now, and Christian Yali joins us from the House. Christian, thank you for your time. Kindly talk to us about the issue of the tribunal courts and the conversations about it in Parliament. We know the minority have raised some opposition to it. What exactly is their argument, and has it come up today as well?
Yes, so Martin, this is not even the first time that the minority has rejected the idea of reintroducing the tribunal system. In fact, somewhere last week, when the second reading was done and a full debate ensued on the bill, they had raised concerns about some of the past memories, which they contend are not pleasant about the tribunal system in the past. They raised issues about the kind of excesses that, the system as it was then was used for. And so they were dreading that should this bill pass and then the tribunal system be reintroduced, the fear the excesses of the past may be repeated. In fact, that was the mainstay of the argument the minority MPs made last week when the bill was introduced and the second reading was. Today, we have had the consideration started, and just when they got clause 4 of the bill, the minority leader, in fact, they even moved to clause 5, and then he pleaded with the speaker to be taken back to clause 4. The clause 4 of the bill, Martin, is primarily what is establishing the tribunal system, i.e., the district and then the regional tribunals. Now, one of the sub-clauses of the clause 4 gives absolute independence to the regional and district tribunals. And so that is more or less like a complete, so to speak, breakaway from the judicial system itself, so to speak. Now, one concern of the minority is that, per what the Constitution says, the tribunal system is part of the judicial system, so there is no need detaching it from the judicial system. Now, another point or, recommendation the minority is making is that entire clause 4 of the bill, which establishes the tribunal system, should be deleted. What it means is that once it is deleted, then essentially the entire bill is more or less like repealed or thrown away, because it is when the tribunal system is established, then you have the other clauses that will talk about who qualifies to be on the panel and all of that would come through. So when that is done, but eventually we had the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice also rise to counter some of the claims made by the minority leader, indicating that there is no way some of the issues being highlighted would be repeated. As well mentions that there are safeguards in place to ensure that no one abuses the system once it comes into force. In fact, there's some few exchanges where you even hear the Attorney General pointing finger at the minority leader and indicating that I am your senior, because then he had wanted to make an intervention when the minority leader was speaking, and the minority leader felt that at least he should have waited for him to end his, remarks before he would come in. So a vote has been put on it, as it were, a voice vote just some few seconds earlier was undertaken, and obviously the no's have the voice vote was whether the MPs agreed with the amendment proposed that the clause 4 be deleted completely or maintained. And you had the minority side largely say yes, they agreed that it should be deleted, and then the majority side said no, it shouldn't be deleted. So as it stands, that has been concluded, that debate is over, and the clause 4 of the bill would continue to be part of it, and the rest of the clauses will be considered as well, Martin.
Right, Christian, thank you for that summary of what the conversation has been regarding the tribunal, whether to return it or not. I will definitely be speaking to you in subsequent bulletins. Thank you. Christian Yali is our parliamentary correspondent, and like you heard him say, the minority leader and the Attorney General were on their feet, countering each other regarding this particular subject matter. Let's listen to some of the key areas or issues they raised in their conversation. First, we'll hear the minority leader, who is Alexander Peña-Marking, and then from there we'll also look at what exactly the counter-argument is regarding why the majority or the current administration, the NDC, believe that we need the tribunal system as a country.
Is it going to be in charge of civil matters or criminal matters, Mr. Speaker? I am asking rhetorically. Respected Leonard, you must listen to me. You have your opportunity to have a bite. This is unfair. Respected Leonard Attorney General, first gentleman at the bar. This approach is wrong. This is wrong. You have your bite.
Honorable Minority Leader.
In the mic.
Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Attorney General.
And I'm your senior in this chamber.
Both of you should resume your seats.
I'm your senior.
Honorable,
but I'm your senior here. And I'm your senior here.
Both of you should resume your seats.
Introducing chaos. That is what the tribunal will do. What you are doing is what the tribunal will do. They should let us speak.
Both of you resume your seats.
The tribunal system. This is the tribunal system. This is the tribunal
Honorable
system.
Minority Leader, Attorney General, both of you should resume your seats.
Tribunal system of justice. Tribunal system of justice. That's what you are practicing.
So you had the initial submission by the minority leader Alexander Penyo Marking, and getting to the tail end, you could tell that because the Attorney General was on his feet, the conversation seemed to have drifted into a chaotic moment. But let's now also listen to the Attorney General. He also was in Parliament. In fact, it was his position that he intended to share on the grounds or on the floor of Parliament, which was not allowed by the Speaker, for which reason the issue seemed to have degenerated into the chaos we had in the latter part of the submission. But, well, maybe before that, let's speak to private legal practitioner Austin Bracco Powers, who joins us for a quick chat on this. Mr. Bracco Powers, good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Martin. Hope you are doing well.
Very well, thank you. First of all, what is your understanding of the tribunal court system and why there seemed to be a for and against argument against it? From the layman's perspective, what is the court tribunal system?
Martin, good evening. Let me say one good evening to your listeners and those who are watching on social media platforms. The basic thing we all need to understand is that the tribunal has been part of our court system since the promulgation of the 1992 Constitution. And when you look at, specifically when you look at article, when you look at the provision of from 125 down to 126, 216 and others, it is apparent that the tribunal has been part of our court system. In fact, when you look at the Superior Court of Ghana or the Superior Court of Judicature, particularly at Article 126, it lists the regional tribunal as part of the Superior Court of Judicature in the country. However, Martin, we know that just a mere mention of tribunal brings some memories into mind. In fact, memories that people will not want to remember. And I believe that is the reason why some people have taken a position where they are unable to move. And the position is that they don't want the reintroduction of the tribunal system. But the basic thing is that the tribunal operates on a different plane. They do not go strictly by our traditional court system. They have more flexible processes. And usually, tribunals are the panel are usually, or the panel members are usually are composed of some lawyers and partly non-lawyers. So it is not a formal way of deciding or taking decisions as compared to the traditional system where you have a sitting judge who is well trained in law and you have lawyers who come in and debate. Then later the judge has to decide. But the tribunal has a flexible system, and it was so designed to ensure that at least there are matters that could be decided without resort to the former legalism. And that is why it was introduced. And again, because of the setback that we suffer at the traditional court in terms of the delay of proceedings, sometimes cases could take 20 years, some 30 years, some 40 years. The tribunal system cures that delay. In fact, it ensures expeditious adjudication of disputes. So this has been the advantage of the tribunal system. However, because of the way it was used and how the system was massaged to achieve a purpose, to the point that some people will not even want to hear the tribunal system. But we must understand that until we decide to amend the 1992 Constitution to get rid of the regional tribunal, it is part of our court system. So any attempt to speak against it will not wash. Even though the attempt may be genuine, I think the government has a duty, a responsibility to disabuse the minds of Ghanaians, particularly those who may have suffered in the hands of the previous panel or panel members who headed the tribunals in the past. We need to work to disabuse their minds. Otherwise, there will be opposition to the attempt to introduce or reintroduce the tribunal system into our court structure. But, from where I stand, I say it is part of our court system. And it is time, or the time is right for us to accommodate it. Because it was Kufuor's time that the tribunal system suffered a major setback. And it was not given a blood to function. But if this government wants to do that, because we have our traditional courts are inundated with a string of cases. Some of them are taking so long. Judges are also slow. Lawyers are repetitively delaying matters. So the tribunal system will help ensuring an expeditious adjudication or discharge of matters. So for me, I think it is a good idea, but the government has a lot of work to do to settle the minds of Ghanaians, disabuse their minds, and let them know that this time around, the tribunal will do a good job. This will be a burden or an obstacle the government will have to overcome or surmount.
Right. And so that burden you describe is what my next question will be, which is that we are in a modern era. A lot more people are educated and have an idea what the regular legal system should be like. So when someone is introducing something that is alien in the tribunal system, which was something you say majority of Ghanaians fear, is it a legitimate concern to say that because of the past, we shouldn't allow it totally to happen? Or like you're saying, we should allow it, but we should make sure that modernity works line in line with the new system of the tribunal court adjudication strategy that we are introducing?
Martin, we must understand the tribunal is even part of the international court system. When you go to the international play, we have tribunals. They decide cases. In fact, we've had a number of cases. Ghana has had a number of cases before a tribunal, and those cases have been determined by tribunals. The name tribunal, the thing is that you must understand that the name tribunal in Ghana has a different meaning. And the meaning is so because of the experiences of the past.
Right.
And I am saying that, Martin, there's nothing modernity or archaic about the introduction of tribunal. In fact, tribunal is a new order of the day. The only thing is that we are putting the tribunal with a different jurisdiction. We are giving them an expanded jurisdiction so as to ensure that we deal with certain matters in an expeditious manner.
Right.
Martin, the noise and the opposition that is being mounted against the tribunal is so because of the past experiences. And I'm saying that the government has to do a lot of work. In fact, the government has to undertake. I would have suggested that the government should have, the first point of call should have been to rally consensus before even introducing the bill in Parliament.
Okay.
Because
I'm sure they will feel that because it was part of their campaign promise, whoever is hearing it now probably was not following their campaign, because it was a key part of the things the current president said on big campaign platforms, reiterated by the current Attorney General and the legal team of the NDC, and even people who were not necessarily politically aligned. They said that, well, if power does change hands, the new administration intends to bring or reintroduce a tribunal system. So they think that those who are opposing it now have waited a bit too long for their argument to be heard. But like you're saying, it is important. It is already a part of our legal system, but the style of introducing it should also be based on consensus, right?
Martin, what the thing is that the government may have promised to revive the tribunal system, but now it is the government of the day, and any decision that they take will have a lasting impact on Ghanaians. And it behoves on them to ensure that they engender or they get the buy-in of every Ghanaian or the relevant stakeholders before implementing their policies. Nothing. Okay. It should not be the argument that because we made a promise on the campaign platform, we are coming to implement it even when it is unpopular in the society. I am suggesting that the government should have run a consensus. They should have run together major stakeholders to dilate on the issue, the introduction and the unintroduction of the tribunal system. And when we're able to do that, it gives us an opportunity to disabuse the minds of people, particularly those who have bad experiences with the tribunal system. If they have done that, the opposition they are currently facing would not have surfaced. Nothing. Sometimes you may have made a promise, but tactically, you must be swift and smart in the execution of that very promise. And I think this government failed in that regard.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, for your thoughts and time as always.
Thank you.
And Austin Bracco Powers is a private legal practitioner sharing a thought on the reintroduction of the tribunal system by this current administration. And like you heard him say, it was during the administration of the former President John Agyekum Kufuor that the tribunal system, which had been in place for several years, started suffering or was put on the back burner. So our regular court systems like the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, the High Court, the district courts, they were the ones that were used more often than not. And then the tribunal system was totally neglected. But as we speak, the current administration wants to introduce it. However, it is meeting quite the opposition. Let's listen to the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, when he was on his feet in Parliament, arguing strongly about why government is introducing it.
These things incorrect as far as the Constitution is concerned, because as you yourself drew his attention to the provision in Article 126 of the Constitution and 142, but let's start with 126. It provides an integrated judicial system that includes regional tribunals, and that also includes such lower courts or tribunals as Parliament may by law establish. And Mr. Speaker, this is exactly what we are doing. In terms of the regional tribunals, what we are doing is just simply amplifying the provisions of the Constitution in 126 and 124. In terms of the district tribunal, what we are simply doing is implementing 126 by creating a lower tribunal that will deal with criminal matters that have been specified in the bill, including those of illegal mining. So, Mr. Speaker, we are not creating a parallel justice system. We are simply amplifying what is provided for in the Constitution. These things are textually incorrect as far as the Constitution is concerned, because as you yourself drew his attention to the provision in Article 126 of the Constitution and 142, but let's start with 126. It provides an integrated judicial system that includes regional tribunals, and that also includes such lower courts or tribunals as Parliament may by law establish. And Mr. Speaker, this is exactly what we are doing. In terms of the regional tribunals, what we are doing is just simply amplifying the provisions of the Constitution.
And you heard the voice of Dr. Dominic Ayine, who is Ghana's Minister for Ghana's Attorney General and Minister for Justice. So clearly the conversation about whether or not the tribunal system will be introduced is neither here nor there. It definitely seems to be one that will be introduced. However, the opposition and the counter arguments being made about it is what the current administration is being advised or urged to look deeply into. Should it be a total scrap, or it should be allowed with some of the concerns being raised also, given the necessary attention? That's the conversation that has, dominated conversations. That's a key issue we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes. Your thoughts are welcome on Facebook and on YouTube, where this bulletin is streaming. Stay with us. When we return, we'll be taking you to the Ashanti region, where the National Security Secretariat in that region has imposed a 1-month ban on all mining activities. Details of that and more in a jiffy. Is Hot Edition. We're going on to the other story I just hinted you about in the Ashanti region, where the National Security Secretariat in the Ashanti region has imposed a 1-month ban on all mining activities and the movement of excavators within the Joabing municipality as part of efforts to combat illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, and facilitate land reclamation. The directive, which takes effect throughout July, was announced by the Deputy Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator Alhaji Inji Abdallah Umar after an inspection tour of some mining sites across the municipality. So tonight we ask, what does this mean when you consider the fight against illegal mining across the country? First, let's speak to the MCE for the area, who is Madam Eunice Oheniwa Ansu. She's joined us for a quick chat. Madam, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Hello, good evening.
We have heard the public announcement, which is the imposition of a 1-month ban on all forms of mining. How do you intend to implement this order? Because we know that the length and breadth of the country, Ashanti region is the most dominant region when it comes to mining. So how do you intend to implement this ban?
All right, thank you so much. Good evening to all your listeners this evening. Thank you once again for the question. We are going to do our operations. I think it will be in every 3 days, so that they will see that we are serious of what my boss have said. The reason is that yesterday we went round to look at what is happening at my area, and in fact when we got there, it was very sad to see so many things on the ground. Therefore, we decided to put ban on it. That is the reason why we did that. So the illegal mining.
So the ban is not ban on illegal mining, it is ban on all forms of mining for 1 month?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
And what has the response been since this announcement, especially from the big mining companies who have the full license and backing of the state to mine?
When you come to Joabing, all that I can say, they have only one legal miner. And the legal miner, what he is doing at that ground is not a mining, is not the rule, he's not following the rules and regulations of the lances that he's holding. Therefore, I consider him to be an illegal miner. The reason is that when you get to the concession, there are lots of illegal miners mining that area, and when they finish, they don't cover the pit. Therefore, he's not doing the right thing that has been given to him.
Okay, so what is the plan while the ban is in place? Are you going to be, like you're indicating, it was a visitation that drew your attention to how bad the situation was, for which reason this ban has been imposed? So now that the ban has taken effect throughout the month of July, and July has about 2 weeks to end, what do you intend to do as a municipality?
Okay. What we are planning to do now is that we are very sure that they don't have documents of what they are doing. Therefore, we are going to invite them on Tuesday. When they come, we are going to let them know that what they are doing over there is illegal mining. And two, maybe they don't know that what they are doing is not proper mining. Therefore, we are going to let them know. And then two, wherever that the person is mining, we will let the person cover that area and then we plant some trees over there. Because it's very sad when you go to that area, the pit that the people have left it there, my dear, is very sudden that even somebody can go to that area, maybe the person is going to a farm or something, the person may even fall on the pit. So it's very bad, and yesterday, my issue is that the security around that area is the problem that I'm facing. Because when you go to those areas where they are mining, that area, for almost about 4 or 5 months ago, I made this statement on I even sent it to the media and so many places. That area belongs to Konongo, and when you go there, the Konongo people have not been monitoring or they have not been doing what is right. Yesterday, for instance, when I went there with my boss, Alaji Inje, when they even saw the police and then the crowd that we went there, they don't even recognize that people have come there. In fact, I asked somebody, so haven't you seen that the police people and the whole entourage is here, and you people have not even seen us? You are still mining. He told her, oh, for this one, we have been seeing them. When they come, they only come and then we saw them out and they will go. So my plea is that I wish my president, my regional minister, and then the interior minister will help me have my division. When I have the division, that is where I'm going to get the total control over there. Because, my dear, when you give instructions to somebody and another person comes to give another instruction, the person doesn't know which one is going to take it serious.
Certainly. And clearly, it looks as though that is a big concern we have now about implementation. Thank you for at least letting us know the reasons why the municipal assembly intends to implement this ban, at least for a month, so that we can reclaim some of the destroyed lands. We've been speaking to Eunice Ohinewa Ansu, the MC for the Joabi Municipal Assembly. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, man.
And so let's stay on the subject and now engage the Deputy Regional Security Coordinator of the Ashanti Region, Alhaji Inji Abdallah Umar. Alhaji, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening, my brother.
The big question many are asking will be how the Security Coordinating Council intends to implement the ban, or at least make sure that people follow this ban. Ashanti region and many other adjoining regions have gained notoriety for the illegal mining that has, crept into regions that ordinarily would have been mining to give, resource to the country. But at this time, illegality has crept into it and is dominating. Now that you've placed a ban, what is the implementation strategy going forward?
Okay, so good evening to you and your listeners. So as you said already, this directive is from the Ashanti Regional Security Council, placing a 1-month ban on all mining activities, whether legal or illegal, within the Joabi municipality. Because I can tell you that there are people, even with legal documents, doing small-scale mining. After mining, they will be leaving the pits there, which will pose danger to the ordinary citizens or residents within that community. So we would want to, in this 1 month, see that there will be no mining activity, no excavator is going to move out from the Juabin municipality or the Juabin area, and then we are going to make sure all those mining in the area have started their reclamation program within where they are mining.
Right. And how has the cooperation been, especially after the announcement of the ban? We are told that the entirety of the Ashanti region is where the ban has been implemented. We know there are some legal institutions that are mandated to mine. What has their response been following the announcement?
Well, they have nothing to do or say than to comply, at least to mine and leave the pits there to pose danger to human beings or the ordinary citizen. I think it's not something anyone will support or vouch for. So they have for now accepted, and we are also monitoring the system in collaboration with the municipal assembly, the police, and other agencies who will assist us to make sure or to see to it that the reclamation have started as we announced yesterday, from yesterday till the end of the 1 month that we've given them.
Two final questions, then you can take leave of us. One would be, is it that even legal mining institutions who mine within their concession are also expected to stop the mining for the 1 month?
Yes.
Okay, right. And my final question would be, based on the intelligence you have gathered, for which reason you've instituted this ban, are you looking at advising maybe national security to institute a similar measure where there will be a total ban in the country based on the success you are likely to see from the Ashanti region?
No, for now, no. You know, this reclamation program is a directive from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources from last year, July, to all the regions or areas that are doing mining, especially small-scale mining. So Ashanti region, I'll say, have taken the lead. And it's not only Juabin. I think we've already placed some 2 weeks ban in UNESCO number 1 and 2 within the Akrema-Kwanguma municipality, and they have 1 week has already gone. It's left with 1 more week. We are monitoring the system. We have mounted our checkpoints, that's barriers, to make sure that excavators are not moved out from these areas. Now we have Juabin. We have already done that of Bosomtwe. For Bosomtwe, there is and there will be no mining in the Bosomtwe area. A directive from the Regional Security Council, led by the Regional Minister, Dr. Franka Mwakohene. Now the research is also doing a massive reclamation at Adanse Asqua, as I'm speaking with you. And then we have started already Bosome Freho district area, where a lot of the miners have gotten themselves involved in this reclamation program.
Right.
And you can see to yourself when you go there, miners who lost their land to illegal mining activities have gotten it back.
Okay.
Some of them have gotten some plantations like palm, coconut, and others, and are now working on their lands that they lost some years ago.
Okay.
They have gotten it back and are seriously working on it. So we are spreading it to the other districts or municipalities that are also in this mining activities.
Thank you so much for your time and thoughts this evening, Alhaji Inji Abdallah Umar.
Thank you so much.
Right, and he is the Deputy Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, reiterating the ban that has been put in place for at least the entirety of July in the Ashanti region, especially because they want to stop the Galamsey activities, and then also they want to ensure that they are able to reclaim some of the lands that have been destroyed, especially because they believe that it will go a long way to save lives. This is 3FM 92.7. We're going on to other related subjects now, this time around to education, because the leadership of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana have given government a 1-week ultimatum to conclude negotiations on their expired conditions of service. The unions say that a meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission ended without any agreement, raising fears of possible industrial unrest if the negotiations are not concluded promptly. 3 weeks ago, the leadership of NAT, NAGRAT, and the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana petitioned the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission over delays in renewing their expired conditions of service. Among their key demands are the promotion of qualified teachers and the implementation of a 20% deprived area allowance for teachers serving in disadvantaged communities. On Thursday, the 16th of July, which is today, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission convened a meeting with the unions in an attempt to resolve the outstanding issues. However, the negotiations ended inconclusively. The Commission informed the unions that it would seek a fresh mandate from government before returning to the negotiating table next week. The outcome of the meeting left the teacher unions dissatisfied, with teachers and leaders accusing government of delaying the process. President of the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, King Ali Audu, says the unions have given government, through the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, 1 week to conclude negotiations or risk disrupting the current industrial peace in the education sector.
So the powers that be, we are asking them, when is the president going to fulfill those promises? And the story we are getting is hurting. It's hurting because they are telling us that we are too many. So the budget cannot take it. So we have to close many schools down and sack many teachers from the schools. So we have few teachers that we can take care of. So we are asking that the president must make sure that he directs his ministers. They should do the right thing. At the time the president was making the promise, he knew the budget or our economy and what we can take. So we believe that this economy can take care of teachers. The only allowance we have asked is a new one, only one. And as I speak to you, apart from premier retention premium that a teacher has, we don't have any allowance on our pay slip. All the allowances are accumulated and they are given in a year. If I do the calculation, you'll be shocked how much a teacher is taking per month. There are some teachers who are doing extra work and nobody is recognizing them. This is the demand we are making. So today's meeting is to assure our members that the Fair Wages and Salary Commission asks that next week we'll come back. They are going for fresh mandate because we have made our points known. Very well. That we are not going to renege, we will not accept any excuses. It must be fulfilled. 1, the DD to Director 2 and Director 1, then the deprived area allowance, and then the housing for teachers.
So that is the president of the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, King Ali Awudu. This is 3FM 92.7. You're listening to Hot Edition, and time now for the latest in the world of sports. And Murtala Mohammed has joined us in studio for a quick chat. I mean, many of you who've been following the World Cup know which two countries are going to the final on Sunday. Whether you're disappointed yesterday or excited following the encounter between Argentina and England, well, you can let us know in the comment section on our streams. Murtala, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Personally, I was disappointed that England couldn't push through to beat Argentina. I know I'm in the minority when you talk about yesterday's game, but what are your thoughts on it?
And you're saying everyone knows the two teams playing the final. I doubt Cristiano Ronaldo does know. Well, that is just an aside. But I think it's been a brilliant World Cup so far. Argentina, Spain in the final, something that...
Was it expected?
Not really. Many predicted France-Argentina final at a point because France looked like the most complete team in the tournament, especially with the last four. And many were disappointed how Spain brushed them off easily. Spain were just tactically disciplined, stuck to their guns, and France came in with the notion that we are the best team in the tournament, so let's just go out there and show everybody. Spain outclassed them. In the end, Spain in the final. Argentina, they've been hanging on the thread. It's like a football story that has been written that needs to be fulfilled. Right from the game against Cape Verde through to Egypt to Switzerland, it looks like Argentina are down and out. Then Lionel Messi would won the stake and cause magic. It looks like they are relying heavily on Lionel Messi, and it's working for them. There's no shame in that because even Ghana has relied on Asamoah Gyan in the past, Abedi Ayew, Pele, and other. All teams rely on one person at a point, and that is what Argentina are feeding off. For me, they deserve to be in the final. Pair on the balance of play that we saw against England yesterday. England called too early. I think with about 30 minutes to go, you don't go into a defensive mode against Lionel Messi, who rode back the years by shifting to the wings. Once he does that, you know you are doomed.
Was it that, I mean, it's past, we cannot change what has happened in past, but like almost everybody is shifting the blame on Thomas Tuchel and his strategy he deployed. Could the players have done anything else?
It is easier to sit outside and say that Thomas Tuchel got it wrong, as the Georgian club said, because you're playing against Argentina, you're leading by a goal to nil. They are already dominating possession. What it's in your mind as a coach is to try and block all the spaces. The players he brought on could not do the job. That is the only reason why. So you can say that he got it wrong. If he had worked perfectly, if he had defenders who could anticipate better, they would have easily seen this one out. They just couldn't do it. But, I mean, you can't fault a coach by going defensive when he knows they are playing against an Argentina side that has Lionel Messi in. And there's one thing I noticed yesterday. When the second goal was scored, it was Lautaro Martinez. But every single Argentine ran towards Lionel Messi. It tells you how revere, it tells you how they revere him, how he's cherished within the team, and how they see him as a difference maker. I mean, if people are complaining that every Argentine wants to pass the ball to Lionel Messi, but if you have Messi on the pitch, who do you want to pass it to?
Good question. And maybe finally, what are your predictions?
It will be hard. My heart says that Spain, because they are very disciplined. My head tells me that if Messi is on the pitch, anything can happen. So I would go with Argentina nicking this one. But if Spain wins it, I'll be happy, because Lamine Yamal, as a young boy, just 19 years of age, winning your first World Cup, that would be great for him.
That would be great. All right, Mutala, thank you very much for your thoughts. As always, he's with 3 News Sports here at Media General. And so it's time for the latest in the world of business. Bismarck Ewusa is coming in. Bismarck was watching the game with us yesterday. I want to find out from him. Bismarck, your question is, who is going to win the World Cup? We know that it is Spain, Argentina in the final. You were just watching yesterday and were laughing at almost everybody else. It was like as though you knew Argentina would come up with the magic. Were you surprised that Argentina won?
Well, I wasn't surprised that Argentina won, because I watched their previous match, and I knew what the GOAT Messi could do. So I wasn't surprised at all that he pulled a last-minute surprise. Oh, yeah.
And now they are in the final. How do you see that playing out?
Well, for us on that side, it's a bit of a friendly match for us, in the sense that we are now confused as to which team to support. Yes.
Are you a Barcelona fan?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so that's where your confusion stems from. Right.
But I'm hoping that Messi takes it for the second time.
Really?
Yes, and then now we can groom Yamal.
Yamal for the next game. Yes. Okay, all right, Charlie. So that's Bismarck Ewusa with our business desk. He's coming in with the latest in the world of business. Stay with us. This is Hot Edition on 3FM.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also coming up tonight, community banking sector expands to 147 institutions with more than 8 million customers and 26 billion cedis in assets as Bank of Ghana hails 50 years of community-based finance. We'll bring you details of our headline and other stories shortly. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. Ghana's community banking sector has grown into one of the fastest expanding segments of the country's financial industry, with 147 licensed institutions, serving more than 8 million customers, and managing assets worth about 26 billion cedis. Speaking at the commemoration of 50 years of rural banking and the conversion to community banking, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, says the milestone reflects the success of a model introduced 5 decades ago to bring formal banking services closer to underserved communities and promote financial inclusion.
What began with one bank at Nyakrom is today 147 licensed institutions, about 1,000 branches, more than 8 million customers, and an asset base of approximately 26 billion Ghana cedis as of May this year. 26 billion, not million, billion Ghana cedis as of May this year. It is one of the fastest growing segments of our banking industry. And note those numbers carefully. They are not a measure of institutional success. They are a verdict on the original idea.
And that was Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, the Energy and Green Transition Minister, John Jinapor, says the Tama Oil Refinery, TOR, is expected to receive 1 million barrels of crude oil from Ghana's Jubilee oil field today. The delivery follows a similar supply to the Central Oil Refinery, which analysts say could strengthen Ghana's energy security by increasing domestic refining capacity. Speaking at the GIPCON 2026 conference, Mr. Jinapor said the government was committed to reviving the fortunes of the refinery, which has faced years of financial losses and operational challenges.
Today, our own Tema Oil Refinery is taking another 1 million barrels from our own fields to process. And that, for me, tells you what leadership can do. Because when we assumed office, Tema Oil Refinery was being given out. It was being given out for $22 million. The refinery had not published its financials for 9 years. Today, I can report to you that not only have we published all the financials for the years, the refinery is making profit way in excess of the $22 million, creating jobs, anchoring the economy, and processing our own products.
And that was Energy and Green Transition Minister John Jinapor. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Ofori, has called for increased government investment in infrastructure to support the efficient distribution of petroleum products. He says such investment could or would also help position Ghana as a strategic distributor of petroleum products to the sub-region.
Resilience requires infrastructure. We must continue investing in modern storage facilities, strategic pipeline connectivity, local refining capacity, transport corridors, and the road network that connects our depots. And at least we'll be hoping that our minister will be giving us something on the roadmap within the Tema TOR enclave. These investments will improve supply reliability, lower logistics costs, create jobs, stimulate industrialization, strengthen Ghana's energy security, and ensure efficient means of transporting petroleum products across the length and breadth of the country. And then
You heard Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Ofori. And that brings us to the end of the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thanks for your company.
And that's it for news that came your way from our studio here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Martin Esiedidate. Hot Edition was produced by Sixtus Don Ulo and Richard Bright Ado, with technical support and social media streams all helping the team out. If you go to our website 3news.com, you get many more stories that we were unable to bring to you within this 1 hour period. Join us same time tomorrow 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the hottest stories in Ghana. My name is Martin Esiedidate. Bye for now.